Hey Danish tubers, today we're diving into the fascinating world of formation and derivatives. I'm your guide, Liam, as always on this Danish language journey, ready to uncover the secrets that make Danish so uniquely expressive. Let's get started. Words are like building blocks in a language. How we put them together creates a canvas of expression. In Danish, this art is particularly vibrant through word formation. Let's kick it off with prefixes and suffixes. Check out this word. In the middle, you have the word mulig. That means possible. By adding the prefix at the start, u, now it becomes impossible. And finally, by adding the suffix at the end, hill, now it becomes impossibility, or a possibility, an impossibility. Now, let's talk about derivatives. These are like the spice in your Danish language recipe. Adding prefixes or suffixes can transform a word, giving it new meanings and new nuances. Here are some common prefixes. Miss, just like in English, miss. We have forstå is to understand, misforstå, misunderstand. At bruge is to use, misbruge, misuse. Easy, right? Here's another example. Tage is to take. Gentage is to retake, as in like repeat. You will hear this a lot when you're learning Danish, and the very common question is, kan du gentage? Kan du gentage? Hvad? Kan du gentage? What? Can you repeat that? And again, we have bruge to use and genbruge, reuse. So this one, gen, means again, do something again. And more often than not, it translates to the English re. And just like we had at the start, here is another example with umulig, impossible, uhyggelig, creepy. You probably know the Danish word hyggelig, right? Everybody's talking about hygge and that things are so hyggelig. If they are uhyggelig, that is the negation, the opposite, now they're not cozy, they're uncozy, which actually means, in most cases, creepy. So our three examples of prefixes: miss, meaning miss, u, meaning un, more often than not, and gen, usually translating as re. Let's take some examples where we now hook some things onto the end of words, that is, add a suffix. Here we have hill. Hill is a very common ending for nouns. Ensom means lonely. Ensom hill, loneliness. Venlig, friendly. Venlig hill, friendliness. Here are two examples where it translates as ness. It's not always ness, but a few of them are. Here's a good example where back in time, in the nostalgic days, you would have been taking pictures of the Northern Lights with an instant camera. And that would be nostalgisk, nostalgic. Nordisk, Nordic. Isk often means ick in English. I know this is a lot of information to take in, but you can meditate if you like. And this one is easy because whenever a word ends in skøn in English, there's many of them that also end in the same, but in Danish you pronounce it sjón. Instead of skøn, sjón. For example, inspiration, meditation, sjón. And lastly, if you're feeling a little naive or maybe a bit creative, maybe both at the same time, I don't know, you would use this ending of tate, tate, naivitet, kreativitet. Now there's many words that end in et where you pronounce it as a soft D. We maybe talked about that in a previous class. But with these nouns, concepts if you like, the ending is T-A-T-T-E-T, sorry, tate, tate, naivitet, naivitet, kreativitet. So this time, our suffix examples were hill, often meaning ness, sometimes hood, maybe something else. Let me know in the comment section if you find another translation for words ending in hill. Skøn, or sjón in Danish, translating as skøn in English, pretty simple. Again, not always. There may be a different translation. Let me know below if you find one. Isk, more often than not, will mean ick in English. And tate might often translate as T, such as creativity, naivety. But again, it's not always the T-Y in English. Let me know in the comment section if you find new words ending in tate. And now it's time to empower your vocabulary. Why does that matter? Well, a rich vocabulary empowers you, of course. It's not just about knowing words. It's about using them with finesse to convey exactly what you mean and to begin using important, useful combinations. Here we have our Christmas scene. We have two words, Yule, Christmas, and brøk, meaning a brew. Often, compound words are connected with an E. So these two words become julebrøk, and you will see all the Christmas words. You can go on and on and on because you can basically invent your own. A Christmas whatever you want. You want a Christmas phone? Juletelephone. I don't know. You want a Christmas t-shirt? Jule t-shirt. I don't know. What else could you want? A Christmas mouse? I'm looking at my computer mouse right here. Julemus. Why not? A julemus. In julemus. It's that easy. Sleeping child. Barn. In the carriage if you like. Vogn. Vogn can also mean a van. Put the two words together, connect them with an E, it becomes barnevogn. Barnevogn. Now you have a pushchair. Cool, right? Compound words are so cool, right? Because you can very quickly boost your vocabulary. Compound words, however, are not just connected by the letter E. Sometimes it might be a letter S. Like this example. A cabbage. A red cabbage, that is. Rødkål. And a head. It's hole. Kind of a funny word in itself. A red cabbage head. A cabbage head. The head of a cabbage. Okay, we know what it means. Rødkål's hole. Rødkål's hole. That's an awful word to say. I'm sorry that I chose that example, but you get my point, right? Moving on to a slightly easier example. Mellow, chill, a nice glass of red wine. You might need it, and I have heard that being drunk makes you speak better Danish. You heard it here, folks. Rødvin, red wine, its glass is a glass. Use the S and you have rødvin's glass. It's rødvin's glass, a red wine glass. So that is the process of connecting compound words. Sometimes you have an E, sometimes you have an S. Sometimes you don't have anything, you just have two words put together. It's trial and error. Take note of what you find and let me know what words, compound words, do you already know. It's time for some before and after. Imagine saying the city is great at night and then transforming it with derivatives, compound words into the city has a great nightlife. You know how to say night? You know how to say life. Now you can say nightlife. Danish word net, compound natteliv. Sentence: Byen har et livligt natteliv. The city has a lively nightlife. Does Copenhagen have a lively nightlife? Let me know. Here's another example as I help you climb the ladder to Danish victory. Danish word hjælp, help. Derivative, compound, hjælpsom, hjælpsom, helpful. Sentence: Hun en meget hjælpsom person. Hun en meget hjælpsom person. She's a really helpful person. So I hope you can now envision your Danish vocabulary blossoming and growing much easier. It's time to master this art. Practice is, of course, key, so let's dive into some exercises. I want you to match the words on the left with their suffixes on the right. You should have got something like this. Arbejdsom. Arbejdsom. Hardworking. Gense. Rewatch. Mulighed. Possibility. Akrobatisk. Acrobatic. So now I want you to go out and explore. You don't need a magnifying glass, but it could be useful to have a little notebook. Of course, go over to your workbook, check out the quizzes within this course. Read as much as you can, watch as many videos as you can, and take notes of all the compound words that you notice. It's a challenge, but fear not, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Embrace the unique sounds of Danish, practice those clusters, and soon you'll be speaking with confidence. Today we journeyed through the art of word formation and compound words and facing challenges head on. Remember, every word you learn is a brushstroke on your Danish canvas. So keep painting, keep practicing, keep taking notes, and soon Danish will dance effortlessly on your tongue. Until next time, happy learning. DanishTube.